So this conversation, the Gender Equity Index tool, this research, it's all designed to support EAS providers like Caravela, like ECOM, and many others in the space. So no conversation would be complete without hearing some of their reactions from Alejandro and Pam. So they've been gracious enough to give us some of their time today, and so I just want to just open up the floor. Maybe we'll start with you, Alejandro. Um,
No, not at all. Women's first.
uh, either way, but just your general impressions, your thoughts and comments. Again, this is a tool that's designed to support you, and so really interested to know your interest in utilizing it, your thoughts about what sort of impact this may have on your service provision over time, and anything else that you think might be valuable to share to our group today.
So the findings really resonate with us. We knew kind of that this is where we were, that we're inconsistent in how we apply or prioritize gender in our projects, where it's really present in some places and then not anywhere in others. So we saw in our main kind of driver for joining the working group on the index is that we see it as a way to form a common language across the regions and teams we work in, so that we can identify where we have strengths, where we have weaknesses, and really kind of focus on where we can share lessons learned, and then also use the partnership to kind of as a resource to figure out how to improve the areas where we really show a need for that improvement. But without being able to kind of compare all our programs, it's really hard for us to pick a point to start in. And we see this kind of being able to create this assessment is really going to help us kind of shape the strategy we want to take to better embed gender within our programs, rather than looking at it as like an additional component that sometimes we have if the donor requires it, and or the client or whoever's funding the work. So I mean, we really see that it'll be useful in the future.
Excellent.
Yeah, I agree with Pam. You know, this kind of initiative is great. You know, we supported this initiative from the beginning because we do see that these common languages and common goals that we can have as an industry, both coffee and cocoa, really helps us as service providers to look ourselves in a more holistic way. And actually, when we approach our programs, then we can actually benchmark against the overall group, not against ourselves. You know, sometimes I think in the industry we look at ourselves and we see, well, we're doing great because we do all this stuff, but how do we benchmark against the industry as a whole, right? And how we use these kind of pre-competitive scenarios to learn from each other. You know, that's really important. You know, I think Nora mentioned it, the do-it-yourself kind of mentality to a more collaborative mentality. We're all measured by the same token, and then you know, independently, we're working independently, but we have common goals, and that as an industry is really important. So we are collaborate, even though we're doing ourselves in different regions, different countries, different contexts or cultures. We have the same measurement tools that allow us to move as an industry together, more collaborative, and really make sure that we're taking into account every single person in the industry, and especially in this case, women, who are probably one of the hardest working constituents in the industry. They work really hard. They do, as Nora mentioned, they have so many things that they do, and they're instrumental in the success of the coffee industry. You know, I've seen it in over 20 years, how women really, you know, even though they're in the sidelines, or they are really managing the farms and making sure that those farms are profitable and are doing the best things that they can. And certainly in quality, they're certainly very important in terms of quality. So as long as we can collectively work on measuring the impact that we have, then I think we can all independently continue working independently, but work towards common goals as well. And that's for the common good of the whole industry, and of course of the coffee growers as well.
I'm also curious to gain your perspective on, so the expertise that you have as a service provider is very often agronomic, in nature. It's scientific. It's biological. And here you have this whole other science called gender equality. And I'm wondering about what would be the anticipated capacity building that such a tool may have on your organization to sort of, alongside agronomic and expertise in fungus and pest management, will there be some capacity building of the staff through this process?
Most definitely. I mean, the people on the ground who are delivering the services are the ones that are probably going to benefit the most from this, just because it'll help them kind of be aware of their own prejudices that they have that they don't even know about how they approach women and men in the field. And then also just allow them to kind of do their jobs better, because it's not that they don't want to include women, it's just maybe they don't know how for whatever reason. So I think they're probably the ones who will benefit most directly from this kind of assessment, to be able to kind of see where are the areas that we need to help them, and what is the knowledge that they need to be able to do their jobs better.
Yeah, I would agree with Pam there. I think it's not that we don't want to do it. Is we don't understand many of the contexts and the cultural aspects of gender in coffee and in general. So just having a toolkit to better train those technicals, the people that are on the ground working with the farmers. They have great agronomic knowledge, and they probably have great cultural knowledge as well. But there's cultural issues that they're not aware of, that it's part of their day-to-day life, that if we can make them aware and open their eyes and ears about those issues, I think we can do much better in general. They're the ones actually on the ground, on the field most of the time. So it is important that they understand some of these issues, or most of these issues, and therefore we can all integrate more and build a more equitable coffee industry.